and welcome to US Law Live, another edition of the US Law Podcast, brought to you today by Pam Hallford of Dothan, Alabama, Carr Allison Firm here in Alabama. And my co-host today is none other than the lovely, the wonderful, the talented Mike Judy.
Well, hello, Pam. And right before you said that, I was looking over my shoulder to wonder who you were talking about. You lost me after lovely.
Yeah, you probably thought I was referring to your wife or your sister.
Yes, both much better than I am, both in terms of legal ability and probably ability to host a podcast. But here we are. How are
And
things in your world?
things are great. Actually, you and I were supposed to record last week, so I didn't get to explain to you. I just got back from Bravocon in Las Vegas, where I was able to spend a little bit of time with Megan Goodwin, of the Thorndale firm there in Nevada. But I was really not there to see Megan as much as I would love to say that I was. I was there to see all of my Bravo celebrities in one place at one time. It was like my Super Bowl. It was incredible. It was wonderful. I saw everybody. I made people feel uncomfortable. I made myself feel uncomfortable. I got photos. It was great. Now I'm playing catch up.
So, how is that different than any other weekend of your life, making people feel uncomfortable and embarrassing yourself?
It wasn't. It was just new people to do it in front of and with. So it was great. It was
Well,
great.
good.
Um,
Well, and we have a wonderful guest with us today, Pam. Who do we got?
Today we have Jack Laffey, one of my favorite people. Hi, Jack.
Hello,
Hello,
Jack.
Pam. Hi, Mike. How are you guys?
We're doing good. How
Wonderful.
are you?
I was biting my tongue while you were talking about what I didn't understand to be what Bravocom was, or con, or whatever, and now I understand. And so, did you make Andy Cohen feel horrible?
So Andy Cohen is the only Bravo Lab that I did not get. And by get, I mean take a photo with, have an interaction with. He was the only one that I missed out on. And I feel sad about that, but there's always 2027.
Well, I'm sad for you. I'm
Yeah.
sad for you. He's a fellow deadhead and incredibly hilarious, in a very uncomfortable and awkward way.
Yeah,
Are,
yeah,
are
yeah.
you a fan of all things Bravo, Jack?
I am not a fan of anything on the regular that is consumable on TV or like screens. However, I have in my past, usually on Saturdays at the gym, consumed massive amounts of USA Network and Bravo content, and yeah, I'm at least familiar that it exists, and I get the vibe. And it's if I did sit around and watch TV screens a lot, then I would be probably glued to that.
It's great because it's mindless. So we actually saw, so Allison Sosman went with me from our Jacksonville office. And we saw Amanda Hartman from 7-Eleven out there. And we talked about how it's so perfect for what we do all the time, like high stress, high pressure. You got to be totally focused all the time. And so you can go home and you watch these people act a complete and utter fool,
Yeah,
and you can zone out and you think, God, I thought that negotiation with plaintiff's counsel was bad, but look at how they interact with their friends. My life is great.
yeah, yeah,
So it's really an ego boost, you
yeah.
know?
The unreality of reality TV.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if is Bravo the one with the real estate brokers and stuff like that. That right? I mean, those are hilarious. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great. And Jeff, what's his name, is hilarious.
Jeff Lewis,
Jeff
yes.
Yeah, Jeff
Lewis.
Lewis
Yeah.
is just, I mean, he's such a horrible human being,
Yes.
and treats people awfully. Um,
Yes. Him and
but
Andy Cohen got into a big fight at
I,
Bravocon.
well, I'm on Team Andy no matter what, on that one for sure. But Jeff is like such a jerk,
Yeah.
and he wins all the time. I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it. I'm a jerk and I don't win all the time.
Oh, that's
No,
not.
I don't
You're-
believe
you're-
that at all.
I don't believe that either.
Wait till we're done here.
Speaking of winning, Jack, tell us a little bit, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, I've been doing this shockingly for 4 decades now. That's a long time. And aside from living off my past successes, I try to stay out of malpractice in my practice, which consumes my time on transportation, commercial transportation, probably more than anything else, and products work, toxic tort. As the next cut, I like to say I spend my time mostly dealing with other people's most horrible, kind of upsetting, nasty kind of matters, but that would be a technical lie, as I spend probably more of my time monitoring the people who work for me, making sure that they don't screw up or embarrass me somewhere along the line. And I call that mentoring. That's what so I'm mentoring. I think for the podcast world, let me go with I'm mentoring my teammates.
How much of your time is spent mentoring versus practicing nowadays?
Well, I combine it all so that it's value add on everything where I'm mentoring and that I can bill for it. Because that's an important consideration.
Absolutely.
Now, Jack, you have an interesting career path to what you're doing because you started off on the dark side, right?
Negative. No, I started off right out of law school in what some people pejoratively call an insurance defense kind of a mill, but it was a really good mill. And then I went to the dark side. Perfect training ground and launching pad to go over to the plaintiff's world. So in the 1989, I moved over to one of the two best plaintiffs firms in the state, and I survived there for 6 years until tort reform hit, the first major tranche of tort reform. And at that point in time, they modified joint and several. This is a little law nerdy kind of aside, but it's actually important. We used to be a 1% joint and several state. So we get all of these wonderful products cases come in, and of course the employer's 85% at fault, and there's a little bit on the product, and the plaintiff walks. My client would eat all of that. So it was a very lucrative time for plaintiffs firms. Well, when they did tort reform, they changed that, made it a modified thing. You need 51% at fault. And we filed on the day the tort reform statute took effect, every single possible workplace accident, car accident, products case, whatever, everything. We emptied the entire file cabinet, and then we had no cases left. And so the conditions were not necessarily ripe for the next couple of years for growth patterns. So I went over to the defense side in a more of an upscale litigation boutique thing, which allowed me to meld all the stuff I learned on the dark side, how to run plaintiff's practice, and bring it to a catastrophic defense practice, knowing things that most people on the defense side had no idea what's going on. You all think you know, but you don't know, and it helps a lot. And so then I stayed there, and I've had, I like to say, 4 or 5, I think at 5 legal lifetimes, meaning I've been at 5 different places, culminating in opening this shop 9 years ago. And so here I sit. Best move I made was at 58 years of age to go out with 2 of my buds and former law partners and open a shop where our motto is, we don't know how to run a law firm, but we know how not to.
I like it.
Think about it.
I like.
Think about it. Yeah, think about it.
What's the biggest lesson when you say that, you think you know what's going on the other side, but you don't? I guess what's the biggest takeaway from being on the plaintiff side that you brought over to the defense practice?
The one thing that will never go away from me. So I was a plaintiff's lawyer at the time of LA Law. And I know you've all seen it on reruns somewhere, or at least heard reference.
I'm too young for that, Jack.
Yeah,
I'm
but
too
it's a
young.
cocktail party. You must have heard somebody. Anyway, LA Law would always have their LA Law meeting. Always, it's an all firm meeting, whatever, once a week. So we did too at lunch on Mondays. And my senior partner there, who was just a phenomenal trial lawyer, rest his soul, he was breaking into auto crash worthiness, and he had a roof crush case in California. I think it was his first referral, and the client was a quad roof crush, right? And I remember a meeting where he asked his assistant, who was also his paralegal, "Where are we on 24-hour-a-day attendant care?" And she's like, "Well, he doesn't need it." He goes, "What? Where are we on 24-hour-a-day attendant care?" Jim, he doesn't need it. He's got family, and so they've got somebody coming in. He goes, "If I don't get a report showing 24-hour-a-day attendant care and a life care plan by Friday, you're fired, fired." He got his report. So the idea that these people can be supremely callous, mercenary, and greed driven to the detriment of their clients' best interests, that's true, which I then parlayed into defending catastrophic cases and realizing that and creating a wedge with plaintiff's counsel by presenting a more affirmative, results-oriented, dignified, and respectful approach to the really serious catastrophic injuries that these people had, because they're capable of doing some things, and independence is the lifeblood of everything. And if you can give them legitimate hope, you can actually make inroads with the plaintiff's lawyer, to the point that at one mediation, I handed all of my materials, which back then included a video, across the table to the plaintiff. She was an incomplete quad, and her lawyer grabbed it and moved it over to him, and she went the other way, got it, and put it right back in front of her. So I kind of knew the case was settled eventually. Yeah. So that's one of my big takeaways.
You know, Jack, I've known you for a number of years, but today is the first time that I realized that you were a supreme actor, along with all your other accolades. That dramatic representation of what your partner once did was really incredible.
He's a storyteller, Pam.
Thank you. Jim Murphy and I, different generations, but we're of a kind. I mean, he's a lace curtain Irish guy from the wrong side of the tracks who happened to be the first person in his family to go to college, let alone law school. So that's me. I can play that guy all day. I can do accents, not well, but I can do some accents. A variety of British accents from all the time I spent watching Masterpiece Theater. So, but we don't need to do that now. We can.
No. That's going to be your bar time party trick for the next time we're all together.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the next time we're together, I think it will probably be at the Transportation Forum. But I understand you just came off of another forum with USLAW. Where did you just get back from?
For some reason that's lost on me, I'm the chair of the Complex Torts Product Liability Practice Group, and they thought it would be a good idea that they bring an old guy in to run the practice group, which is interesting. And then they thought it'd be an even better idea that it's about time that practice group had a forum.
Nice.
And I'm supposed to, whatever the practice group chair is that does with that, that's what I'm supposed to do. So we did that, and we were in Charleston about a month ago. And it was delightful, intimate. So probably had 15 clients there. And it was really on a social, personal level, it was delightful. The smaller size actually increased the bonding capabilities for everybody. It also ratcheted down some of the social pressure that you can find when we go to some of the bigger meetings, like the transportation forum is really big, relatively speaking. And of course, the annual meetings and stuff, they're really large. But we had a wonderful time, and the reviews were universally positive. So I thought it was a great success, and we'll be in Nashville next May to do it all again. So looking forward to that.
I imagine with the smaller group, you had really nice time for some really thorough discussion where you learned a lot from one another.
Well, yes, we did. It was, it allowed, with the fewer people, it allowed more of them to talk. There was less competition, and got to dig into some things. And what struck me from going to all various kinds of forums and seminar things, the consistency of things that people are really concerned about. And the two takeaways that I have from this particular forum is the kind of grip that AI has on the clients in the room, and actually the outside lawyers as well. And the really surprising to me, the almost endless appetite to discuss big verdicts. I hesitate to go jargon and lay on the nuclear verdict thing as a title, just because I have substantive problems with the definition and all the things, and it's just ubiquitous. It's all anybody wants to talk about, a nuclear verdict. Used to be a runaway verdict. Now it's nuclear. I don't know if it'll be geothermal in the next couple of years. I have no idea. But those two things continue to be something that they want to talk about. In particular, AI is kind of understandable because it's morphing and evolving in real time, so that every time you go to a different program and it's on the topic, I'm learning things about it that weren't even discussed 2 months before, for instance. And I continue to learn how our clients are evolving in how they use and view AI tools, and what they're going to impose on folks like us three.
Yeah, it's interesting. The last time that, so I'm the educational coordinator for the transportation committee, which means I help to plan the topics for each of our seminars, forums, whatever we do. And this time last year, we were planning our February events, the winter roundtable and the exchange, and we were going to do a session on AI, which we ended up doing. And I said, guys, I can't contribute anything because my firm has a moratorium on the use of AI. I can't use it in marketing development, can't use it in, actual casework, can't use it at all. And now I'm happy to report to everyone that I have a new boyfriend, and his name is Harvey. And he is an AI program for lawyers. And I couldn't make it through my day without the support of my boyfriend. And I really love the partnership that we've developed. And so the firm is now using it firm wide. Every lawyer has access to Harvey, and we encourage everyone to use it. So just in the year, the way that it shifted for just our small little, Southeastern firm it's interesting to me. I think you're exactly right, Jack, that this is happening in real time, which I think makes it a big contrast to your other topic of, these nuclear verdicts. I like to call them unconscious verdicts, because I think that's the distinction. Because I think there are verdicts that are nuclear and nuclear for a reason, and we could all see it coming. And I think the other one is unconscious verdicts, and those are the ones that I'm interested in. But we're hearing that all the time, and it is evolving because there's a new one coming out, weekly, monthly, whatever. But it's the same story. It's the same thing that she's been writing for years and years and years. And the AI is different. it's a new story. It's something new being written every hour.
Yeah. Do you have are you and Harvey on an ethical non-monogamy kind of a basis so that Harvey can, be friends with everyone else in your firm?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I have to
I don't want
appreciate
you,
that
I don't want,
Harvey has
I don't want to
lots
hear
of
a
other
heartbreak.
girlfriends and boyfriends and is fluid.
Yeah.
But for me, Harvey is the one and only.
Okay.
I'm a
Very
one man type of girl.
There you go. There you go. I don't want to hear any heartbreak stories.
Yeah.
No,
Harvey
no,
breaks
no,
her. I don't want that to happen. That's right. But the verdict thing is, see, that's interesting. Your take on that. The unconscious verdicts that's true, except I think that they are more intentional on the plaintiff side. And they happen, from what I'm watching, one of two ways. One way is the traditional way, when some boneheaded defense lawyer or a boneheaded client of some poor defense lawyer makes an utterly irrational decision about how hard they're going to fight liability on the running down a pedestrian in a crosswalk case. And then they insist on trying that case because $350,000 is way too much for a broken wrist. And the result is that the jury is so furious and so angry about the disrespect that you showed to that plaintiff that they come back with $5 million in pain and suffering. So that's kind of the classic traditional way. What I'm seeing more and more of, and what the clients are talking about really, are the high-level plaintiffs' lawyers that are just saying, we're going to play this like the NFL. So when Micah Parsons signed his new contract with Green Bay, his obligation to his fellow football players was to make sure that he sets the market for a pass rushing defensive player higher than the last guy so that it lifts everybody else. And then the next guy is going to go higher than him. Well, these hotshot plaintiffs lawyers, that's what they're doing for their ego, but also they're raising the value. And they just come in and they've got a great liability case, but they just come in and say, yeah, I think I might have 6 seconds of pre-death terror or pain and suffering. And we can start the conversation. You need to come in with 50 million. Otherwise, we'll go try that case. And what do you do with that? You can't even negotiate with that because they're setting you up to go ahead and put that on trial. And we just had a verdict here 2 weeks ago. A woman got crushed by a retaining wall that came down on her, and she ultimately died the next day. But she was in that rubble for about 3 hours, and there were witnesses that could corroborate how she was in pain and all that stuff. It's a terrible situation. But the plaintiff tried that case. I don't exactly know why. One guy settled at mediation. The second defendant went and tried it. Put in no medical records, no medical bills. The only damage line on the verdict was pain and suffering.
Yeah.
And they got $15 million for a few hours of conscious pain and suffering before she died. And that was on purpose, right? That was on purpose. Yeah. And that was conscious, not to give you a grounding space on the damages piece. So I think we're victims of that on a growing level with these folks who are reasonably fearless but calculated and know that that's how you're going to roll the dice, and that's how you're going to start getting some really big numbers.
And on the flip side of that, are you finding that, on the defense side of it, we're going in the opposite direction, that we're not trying enough cases? We're not picking the right ones to try. That, yeah, you may get popped for 2, 3, 4, 5 million, whatever the number is, but when you can show that demand was 15, 20, 25, that it may not sound like a win, but it's a win.
It's you're right about that. I'm not going to tell you how long it's been since I've gone to trial. It's been a really long time. I also, little inside secret, my window of continuing to practice is closing because I've been doing it for 40 years. And my secret goal, don't tell anybody, is to get out of town without having to go try another case. I don't need that kind of noise if it's really stupid. But that said, particularly in the transportation space, our clients are so sophisticated and so tired of being pummeled as the last best low-hanging fruit in the tort world with lots and lots of insurance. So they're punching bags for good plaintiffs' lawyers. And my clients would like to get their cases settled. And 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 to your point, Mike, they overpay.
Yep.
If there's some objectivity to what the value of a case is anymore, they're still willing to pay more than the hard numbers could really support because they don't want that outlier thing. That said, that then sets you up for when the big hitters, Tim Dollars of the world, come out. It's like, yeah, I got you, but this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to play it, and it's 8 figures as an opening salvo from you, or I don't really care, we'll just go try the case. And you're stuck at that point, right? Because you're stuck trying their case. They're telling you the case they want to try, and we're less and less frequently telling the other side the case that we want.
1,000%.
Right.
1,000%. I mean, and we've all been, doing this long enough. And to your point, our clients are skilled enough that we all can look at the bad ones and say it's bad,
Yep.
And let's see what number they take. Let's hope it's low and let's get it settled.
That's right.
Versus the ones we know the jury's not going to get mad. It's an accident. It's a true mistake. They followed everything they were supposed to follow. They did background checks. I mean, name your industry, that there's no story against the company other than it was a tragic accident. It was a mistake.
Right.
And should we try more of those?
That's right. I agree with you. Those are things that we should be doing. And I have one of those right now where the notorious Joe Freed from Atlanta has decided to bring his firm up to Wisconsin. And he thinks it's a really good idea that his client, who was riding a crotch rocket, got almost split up the middle because he laid his bike down and he had an unfortunate interaction with the rear set of duals of my commercial driver's legal J-turn, and he wound up getting underneath them, and he wound up there because he's reported to be doing over 100 miles an hour on the freeway, also popping wheelies. So Joe and his firm seems to think that that's a really good case for them to fly all the way up to Wisconsin in the middle of winter and tee that bad boy up. I'm scratching my head, but these people are better and richer than I am, so I suppose it's really going to happen, and I'll find out probably if they know what they're talking about or not. I hope they don't. We'll see. But my client in that case is like, tell them before suit that we'd be happy to engage in pre-suit negotiations and we'd love to mediate the case as long as you're willing to accept an actual cost of defense settlement. And I cannot find any reason to dissuade my clients from taking that position at this point, right? So God love them. They know the risk, and they're willing to stand on what looks like a very low to no liability scenario at all. And it's up to the other side to get real, which is rare. It's rare, to your point, Mike, rare.
Yeah, sometimes the punching bag has to punch back.
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of punching bags, how's your daughter doing working at the firm?
I mean, I've heard a lot of good transitions in my day, Pam, but I think that one takes the cake.
Yeah, well, it does take the case, and of course, it's absolutely false. In fact, to the extent that there is a punching bag with the last name Laffey here, it would be me, and she would be the puncher, and I am the punched. So she's doing just fabulously well.
Okay.
Loving life, sending me emails at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning because, well, she's got a almost 4-year-old daughter, so it's hard to get stuff done during normal civilized hours. I used to be up at that time to get those emails and fire off a response in real time, but yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's happened, Jack? What's happened?
Not anymore. No, not anymore. Just, yeah, it's just not that important. It's okay.
You
It
got
can
any
wait.
good shows on the horizon, Jack?
Well, yes, I just bought tickets today, now that you ask, thank you very much, to go see Pat Metheny, fabulous jazz guitarist, in April. And we saw, who did we see recently? Oh, the wonderful Kathleen Edwards. For all of you people who aren't really into excellent music and don't know her, I insist that you go buy some music. She's phenomenal. Pam, you would love her. She's awesome.
Okay.
From
Say
Canada.
it again. Say it again for those who didn't listen the first time.
Kathleen Edwards. See, I was listening, Pam.
She's a Canadian. She is just brilliant. One of the best songwriters ever. She's delightful and incredibly engaging and personable
Nice.
in person. So yeah.
Where's your April show?
It's here in the finest little theater in the country, the Pabst Theater. Yes, that Pabst, 140 years old. It's lovely.
Well, nice.
Yeah. So there.
What's your favorite show you've ever seen live?
I've seen too many. It was probably one of the multitude of Grateful Dead shows that I think I remember going to somewhere along. But yeah, there's a lot of them. Tom Petty also would run off a string of incredibly fun shows. Probably the best Petty thing that I had was when Pearl Jam was the opening act in 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And Eddie Vedder, who has a propensity, not a propensity, he has a crutch that he does every show with a lovely bottle of red on stage with him. And he was the opening. They did an hour and a half set to open, which was generous. And then Petty insisted he come out for the encore. And let's just say that Eddie didn't stop at one bottle of red. And he was ambulatorially challenged and cognitively challenged to remember what song they were supposed to be singing. And Petty, being the legend, just the badass legend that he was, would not let Eddie Vedder off the hook. And they just let the tune come around to the verse, and he waited for Eddie to catch up and and forced him to sing. He wouldn't let him off the hook. It was
that's great.
That's amazing.
So great. Yeah, so great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And of course I was there with my kids, because the family that rocks together doesn't disintegrate as soon as other families do.
Well, you know what? Let's end on that super positive note from Jack Laffey, the way that he always does, ladies and gentlemen. Jack, thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Shedding your lovely light amongst us all.
Are we allowed to break out the bourbon now? Is that okay?
Yes,
absolutely.
Your day is done. Your day is done.
Perfect. That's great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Appreciate you being here, Mike. And stay tuned for the next episode of US Law Live. Thanks, guys.